Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the AAS YouTube channel. And this one is the AAS Journal Scientific Editor Series. And I am delighted to have Enrico Landi with us today. Hello,
Hi,
Enrico.
and I'm delighted to be here. Thank you
Well,
for
thanks.
having me.
Yeah, talk about what you do as this mysterious scientific editor in the dark.
We are human beings. Through
Very cool. Enrico, what's your geolocation? Where are you at?
Personally, right now I am in Michigan, in Ann Arbor, actually close to Detroit.
Nice.
And first you see in the background are actually real colors. I took a picture years ago when I was camping in northern Michigan,
Oh,
right
cool.
at the peak. Yeah, it was kind of cool, but the picture came well. These are really what you see here during foliage. I mean, New England has similar things, but I prefer these ones.
Yeah. So you were up in the Upper Peninsula?
No, no, Ann Arbor is actually close to Ohio.
Oh,
Unfortunately, it's
okay.
south, but we get less snow, but we get it. And we are close to a big airport, so that's good.
Cool. It is October 7th of 2025 as we record this, and I'm in Phoenix, and we have actually turned the corner. So we are cooling down. We'll still get up into the 90s in the day, but it's a dry heat, we tell people. And it's actually fairly pleasant. But we definitely don't get that beautiful foliage like you have in that awesome photograph you got. Very cool. Very
Okay, here we are turning from summer to fall.
cool.
Yesterday it was in the 80s. Today is supposed to go down for good. So, okay, call
Cool.
it to come.
Very good. Yeah, we got below 60 for the first time this morning. We
Ooh.
dipped below 60 and I was like, yes. Very nice. Very cool. Enrico, what do you like to do for research?
Well, I am a trained spectroscopist and I apply what I know essentially to the sun. And I started that since the beginning of my career because actually my undergraduate thesis was the creation of the so-called Chianti database, which
Okay.
everybody's using right now. I am less involved on it at the moment, but that's what I started. And then I started applying it to anything about the sun from the transition region, right, of the photosphere all the way into the corona, any type of activity or anything. I basically use it. Images, spectra, everything is good for me, and I love them both.
Very cool.
And
Very
then when I came to Michigan, nobody was doing that. Everybody was doing solar wind with in situ instruments. So I learned that. And then I learned how to connect the two, what
nice.
is now called connection science. I started publishing on that, and then it became cool. And it's pretty much fun. You're just seeing the same thing from two different vantage points, two different data sets,
Hmm.
totally different type of data and instruments, but you're seeing the same thing. And you're connecting that from one side to the other of the trajectory of the wind. It's fantastic. So that's what I do essentially for research.
Awesome.
And then, of course, being a professor, I also teach students, teach courses, and so on and so forth, the usual professor stuff.
Yes. Committees and whatnot. Very cool. So I'm always kind of curious how people first uh, get into the field that they choose to go into, right? It was just sort of, I mean, you mentioned you were an undergraduate, but that's just sort of happenstance the way that happened, or were you sort of motivated in that direction? So I'm just curious how people get into the fields they get into.
Well, it just happened. I mean, I'm not one of the people who actually was into astronomy since when they were a child. When I was a child, I read something that was fascinating. Then my aunt, which was a physics teacher, gave me a book with some formulas, and I said, "This is not for me." And I forgot all about it since essentially getting into college. And then in college, I started to wander around physics and eventually landed by eliminating all the rest into astronomy. And from there into solar physics, again, eliminating everything. And then I chose the professor for the undergrad thesis, which in Italy is a big thing. It's pretty much like a PhD thesis here in the US.
Uh-huh.
And that person was involved in a starting project called, which was a database, and asked me whether I was interested. And I had no idea what that was. So I said, okay, yes, let's see what it is. And
Well,
then eventually this dominated the first 15 years of my career because
yeah, funny how that works.
I don't know how many versions I led or I had published,
Oh, several.
quite many. And then I utilized that database to do real science, real solar
Fine.
physics.
Very cool.
So that's how I get. I got in pretty much by chance. And I'm not ashamed about it because this is not the only interest I have in life. So I like it, but I also like other things. I just stumbled into this one. And then since I enjoyed it, I continued doing that ever since.
Very nice. Very nice. That's quite a trajectory. It's very wonderful. So let me ask. So you've been doing that for the past, oh, I don't know, at least a decade. And were did any of the projects prove surprising or have surprising results, or what sort of grabbed you over the years?
What grabbed me over the years is the fact that if you look at spectra, you can always find something new,
Hmm.
something that was unexpected. And one thing I like to do is actually inventing new diagnostic techniques, how to use spectra to measure things. We and invented a few, and I really like them. And the most unexpected was actually how to measure the magnetic field
Oh yeah. Hmm.
of the solar atmosphere, which is a very difficult thing to do. But basically, with the help of other people, I developed a new technique which uses an instrument which was there since there were 14 years.
Okay.
And so 14 years of data, and nobody has ever had ever used that for that purpose. So that was really cool thing, just like a new direction for that instruments, which were
Hmm.
unexpected. I was fairly surprised to be able to do that, and I loved it. It was really fun. And basically, I have a few grants to just apply that technique and try to basically measure things that weren't measured before, and try to do long-term studies, this kind of stuff.
Very
It's been an unexpected turn, which was really, really surprising to me. I didn't know it was possible, but eventually it was. So I was really fascinated by that. And that's one of the beautiful things about spectroscopy. You never know what you're going to find next time.
cool. Nice. Very good. Yeah, true. Definitely. Very nice. So you've worked on you've worked on both sides of the Atlantic. I imagine as an undergrad to start and as you went. And so, what was your very first double-edged journal article? APJ, AJ, what was maybe?
It was an APJ article, if I remember well, it was about analyzing an active region or something like that. But it wasn't my first article because my very first years of career were in Europe. And so you would go for astronomy and astrophysics because it was free
Yes.
for the Europeans, while APJ was expensive and we didn't have very many funds. Then, of course, you come here, you have a totally different amount of money. It's okay. APJ became my journal of choice. I rarely publish anything anywhere else. And if I publish it, I'm not normally the first author. Somebody drags me in and do the work, and then okay, I publish somewhere else. But otherwise, APJ is my journal of choice. And I always liked it, the way it was handled. Even before I even suspected I would become an editor, I just liked the journal and continued. So that's always been what I did.
Cool. So I think it was I'll look it up, but we will put a link in the description below the video to Enrico's first AJ APJ article. So you can take a look at it from there. And Enrico really mind himself.
Uh, And I think it was in the last century, so you know how old I am.
Yeah, last century. Ah, man.
Yeah, it sounds really, really heavy, but that's the way
I
it is.
know, I know, I know. Well, I don't want to go there. Oh, goodness. Yeah, so you mentioned at some point along your trajectory, you became a scientific editor. And so why did you decide to become a scientific editor? What was your motivation for that?
Let's say I was just sent an email, would you like to do that? And I say, okay, I never thought about that, really. And so, okay, I thought about it and said, yeah, I like it. I like the idea because, I mean, when you publish, you just are using the work of the editors as well of those that of the referees. And I always
Yes.
being a referee happily because I think it's a very important thing. I think the referee system is what keeps the field alive. I mean, I see, for example, in the field of my wife, which is classical studies, some journals are refereed, some aren't.
Okay.
And those which are not, I wouldn't trust them. And normally they are on the European side of the world, those which are not refereed. And so I think that that is a critical part of the job of the scientist, being able to provide honest opinions on somebody else's work. And I benefited a lot from the opinion of other people on my own papers, even when they were harsh for a reason.
Right.
Then it was asked to be
In
an editor.
retrospect, yes.
And yeah, I mean that's what happens. And sometimes not all your papers are the best papers in the world. And so okay, you get the criticism and improve them. But then when I was asked to be an editor, I didn't even know what the job was, but I thought that if I can be of service in this capacity, also since I've been 25 years, I've been using editors, if you like, it would be a nice way to give back, if you like. And
Yeah.
so okay, let's see what it is about. Then after I learned what it is about, I said, okay, I can do that. It's something requires being very organized, and I tend to be very organized. So okay, let's give it a try. And I really love it. I have to say, I really, really like it.
Very nice. And I think you are somewhere around your 1 year anniversary as a scientific
Yeah.
editor. So very cool. So to some it might be a mystery, exactly what a scientific editor does. We sort of work this, kind of an owl in the night kind of phenomena. And so what does a scientific editor do on a daily basis or a weekly basis? So what does one do?
Well, let's say it's a job that is done in a sense on demand. You have to receive from your lead editor assignments, and once you get the assignments, you say first of all if you know anything about the subject to be at least competent in choosing the referees.
Hmm.
Normally I am because the lead editor Shad is great in this case in this account.
Good stuff.
And once I check that I don't have any conflict of interest,
Very.
then I start to see, okay, I accept the paper, and I start, first of all, reading the abstract, understanding what that is about, making already in mind whether how the abstract is written and whether the person is actually knows what he's talking about or not. And so far, I didn't find anything terrible. Then I have a look at the paper to understand more or less the slant. Is it data analysis? Is it theory? Is it a combination? Is it something fundamental? Is it instrumental? Is it anything? And then I start looking for referees and then make my list and just go by. And I really like it because I got to know a lot more people than I ever met. And so it gives you a much broader perspective on the field.
Yes.
And then you just select the referee, and once the referee accepts, the paper goes in standby because they're waiting for the response. Then the referee comes in, and then you have to decide. And then based on the review, you decide what is going to happen. What normally you just send a revision. You ask for a revision of the paper because it's rare that the papers are accepted at first. Normally more round. I don't remember any of my papers was accepted at first, unfortunately.
That is pretty rare, I will say.
Yeah, exactly. It didn't happen to me. And so, and so you go there, and then you go for round and round of referee process, looking that everything is done right by the authors. Everything is done right by the referees themselves.
Yeah.
But the review is actually makes any sense. Sometimes I receive reviews which I didn't like at all because they were look biased.
Yes.
Different types of biases. You
Yes.
tell them and you start not to like it, then you go for the second referee,
Yes.
and then you see. I mean, there is work in that. It's not that you're just somebody who rubber stamps whatever the
Pushing paper from A to B. No, 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 no.
you have to
Exactly.
you have to spend some time thinking. So
Uh-huh.
it takes some time every day, I would say, to do the editorial stuff.
Okay.
Not a lot, it's not 5 hours a day, but it
No.
takes some time. And then you move on, and then eventually you make a final decision when you see that the paper is going in a good direction, and then okay, eventually you accept it, or whether it's not going anywhere, and then okay, that's time for the author to reassess the paper seriously, and that's normally
Mhm.
reject. And so that is what normally happens. And then you start to look at the trends where the fields go. I mean, it's just 1 year that I'm
Okay.
an editor, so really I'm still learning a lot, even where the field is going. Then you see that a field is going to be more fashionable, our other fields are less fashionable, and you wonder
Okay.
whether that is good, that is not good, and what to do. I'm at this stage at this point. But
Cool.
you see where the field is going. And it's a perspective that I didn't have going to conferences or talking to people. You're
Correct.
always restricted to the same people. Here you get exposed to the whole world.
Full
And
spectrum.
it's great. Yeah, the whole spectrum.
Yep.
So it's a fascinating job, I would say. So far, I'm enthusiastic about it.
So roughly, so that's a good description of the whole process. That was really good. Yeah. Uh, so roughly how many new manuscripts do you take? New ones coming in, let's say every week or so?
It depends on what Shada sends me, but essentially,
Sure.
typically it's 3 to 5.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And
Let me see. I'm just 11 months. I think I would say 3 to 4 is probably the best estimate.
yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's not even, I mean, sometimes you get a lot, sometimes you get less, depending on what people are actually submitting.
Right. It depends on academic schedules. It depends on proposal season. It depends
Yes.
end of year. There's all kinds of cycles to it that
Oh, yeah.
produce beats. And so some weeks you're really insinuated, and other weeks it's okay. So yeah, yeah,
Yeah, but the days where I don't have to do anything are very rare.
yes,
Very rare.
yes, agreed. Very
Maybe I have had 2 days where I didn't have any email in one year where about concerning papers, resubmissions, referee reports, new assignments,
good.
things to think about, or so. Maybe 2 days in a year.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Because there's
After
always
that,
something
it
going on,
continues.
right? Authors are resubmitting, a new report rolls in. There's always sort of something going on
Yep.
to touch on. So yeah. So I thought you did a really nice job there of explaining what you do when you take a look at a new submission, an initial submission coming in. And so what do you think makes for a good initial submission?
Let's say it's what I teach my students when they need to write something, some paper, some proposal, or whatever. Somebody needs to get everything at the first read
Yeah,
without too much attention. A good title is essential, but
yeah,
it's just the setting. It's just like the title of a play. But then the abstract is critical because then the abstract just tells you everything to the point that I don't know how many people stop reading at the abstract. So that is really your business card for presenting the paper. So an abstract which is cured to the extreme is actually better. And
good.
then, of course, in terms of the paper, very long paper really need to be justified for their length in the sense that the more stuff you put in doesn't necessarily improve the paper. It may actually make for something which is more confusing. Okay, something for the supplement where it has 15 long tables. Okay, that's expected. But
Right.
for the normal letters or the main journal, having something compact and clear is really what's gonna make most likely for a very good referee report and for a very high quality paper.
Cool.
And putting a lot of ideas in the same paper reduces the weight of each.
Mhm.
So I think that focusing on something on just one or maybe two correlated ideas and focus on them on a paper makes the idea a lot stronger and the paper a lot more effective than just basically bombing
Just
the reader with a lot of stuff, which
stuff.
is high quality stuff. But since it's just like a meal, you kind of give your guests 15 different dishes, one better than the other, because after a while they cannot take it anymore. And the same is for the people. I mean, I'm Italian, so okay, food is important.
Uh,
And but anyways, think of the paper like a dinner with guests. You
yes.
cannot keep, you
Hmm.
just have to present everything at the right time, cooked to perfection, but everything comes in a sequence and everything, not too much of everything. And then at the end, the guest is very happy. And the night comes out wonderful. Same for a paper.
That's a wonderful culinary analogy. I love it.
It's being
I'm
Italian.
gonna have to come over to your house for dinner sometime.
My wife is a great cook, I have to say.
Cool. Cool. Very nice. And the other thing I thought you did really well there in that opening was sort of discuss the process from securing a referee to getting the referee report to revising the manuscript, loop as need be, and then eventually coming to a decision. And so let me ask, do you have any tips for authors about the peer review process or as they go through the review process? In particular, let's say
Or,
replying to a referee report.
yeah, let's say first, never take it personally.
Yes.
I mean, you get criticized, and that's what the referee process is.
Yes.
And that's it. Then that's part of life. And it doesn't mean that if you get a lot of criticism, it doesn't mean that you're an idiot or you're a bad
You're a
person.
bad person. No.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, okay, this thing needs some improvements. And
Hmm.
the more honestly you take it and the more dispassionately you take it, the better will be the improvements. And you will see that also the referee is a nice person normally. And if you do a good job in taking the comments seriously and do your best to address them, the referee will respond positively, maybe with some more comments because if there is need. But otherwise, they're just people like you. You have been a referee yourself, so you know
Yes.
that you're not bad, and so also the referee isn't. So take the referee comments uh, nicely and take any criticism honestly and with no personal feelings. Also, because if the referee is beginning to be nasty, the scientific editor is beginning to notice first, because before
Yes.
being sent, the scientific editor reads the report. And so you start to see that the referee maybe is trying to impose their view
Right. Their paper.
unduly, because maybe there are several different views which are still competing, and so trying to impose in one is not fair to
Correct.
the
Yes.
other. So the scientific editor normally already notices that. Maybe he sent the referee report anyway, but is already aware of the possible problems, and so maybe he's already looking for a second referee even before anything is said and done. So take all these reports fairly, not personally, and try to do your best. That's what I tried always to do with my own reports, the one I receive on my papers.
Mhm.
Some are just really nice, some were heavier, and okay, there's more work to do. I will do that. I will learn something out of it.
Absolutely. Yeah. You learned something out of it. Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. Refereeing is also about learning, both for the referee and the author, and the scientific editor as well.
Absolutely. Yeah. And in case anybody's wondering, I do referee papers on occasion, but they're usually for our sister journals, MNRAS and ANA. I don't tend to referee double-edged journal articles.
I referee
But I am active as a referee, and I'll just leave it at that. Okay, so that was really good on good advice, I think, to on the author side of the house. And you kind of touched on it a little bit in your answer there. And so let me push on it a little bit and say, do you have any tips for how to be a good referee? What tips should a referee pay attention to? What should they not do in a referee report?
But first of all, for the referee, the thing that really annoys me sometimes is that people don't respond to emails.
Yes.
Or if they say no, they don't tell you any possible referees. I mean, it doesn't really take very much to give some additional name. It's fine to say, okay, I can't referee this one, either because I don't know, or I just don't have time. I have a proposal to write. I have a
Fair.
conference I'm leaving
Totally
for. It's
fair.
normal. You
Yeah.
say no, and that's fine. But say no immediately because the author is waiting for the referee report. So if you just delay for a week responding, the author is just waiting there, hoping for the best for his paper, and they have no idea what is happening after the submission. And so they are just delaying their work, and it's unfair. So respond immediately, even with a no, and please provide names. Sometimes when I really am at a loss on a paper where I don't really know the field, and so I don't know, sometimes I ask people to referee, which I'm not sure they're even in that field, but probably they know more names than I do. And so they
Yeah.
give me
Yeah.
help in a sense. It's a help that you give to the scientific editor and then indirectly to the authors.
Yeah.
So say no. If you have to say no immediately and give names. And it's fine. I mean, I'm happy for people who respond immediately with a no and with more names. They're really my best friends, I feel. And
Yeah.
then for the referee themselves, My tip is just to write as much as you can, not because you want really to annoy the author, but because you're not judging, you're not criticizing, you're helping the author.
Good.
You're really trying to help the authors to make the paper better.
Yes.
So make as much detail as you can. Reports which are very short or very vague or so, they're kind of useless. It's
Yes.
useless to the author sometimes.
And reports.
Even like for a second opinion if I'm not satisfied by the report in the first place. And so just take 5 more minutes and write more. And if you write them also very more organized way, major comments, minor comments, or typos or whatever, that would be better because so the author knows where to be worried about, and then what is can be taken care of in 2 minutes. I mean, the typos or the English or whatever.
Right.
But just write as much as you can and don't be afraid of depressing the authors. You're really helping them, even if you're giving a lot of
You're being
comments.
critical. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
it's the job of the referee to give a honest opinion
Right.
about what the work looks like. And I've been criticizing sometimes papers from the same author very much. And then another one actually very little because the paper was actually good. So you just go case by case, but don't be afraid of giving comments. It's just really think about you're helping, you're not criticizing. And
Beautiful.
I'm happier when I got very clear, even long, but very clear reports in my papers, because then I know what to do, I know what is wrong, I will know what wasn't really good, and then also what is good, what has not been criticized, maybe just maybe was good. So it helps me by assessing my own work from another perspective. It's
Yep.
a really big help. And
Yep.
so referees should think about that when writing their reviews.
Very cool. Beautiful.
5 cents.
Said. Well said. Well said. And I'll just mention this point. If you want to learn how to be a better referee, the AAS does do peer review workshops. We typically do them at the AAS meetings, but we're not averse to coming to you. So, for example, we'll be doing one in Bloomington, Indiana, at Indiana University. We'll be putting on a workshop there. So, look for the opportunities to learn how to be a better referee in a very comfortable environment. Very cool. Very nice. Very nice. Enrico, let's see. Last thing. Do you have any other things you'd like to share about the whole scientific editor process?
Well, I liked it. I liked a lot when I first met them at the first meeting, my fellow scientific editors. It
Ah,
was
yes.
great bunch of people. You chose really nice people, and I really enjoying the process. And you really feel that you're helping the field somehow in your little capacity. But it's a nice feeling, and also really it exposes you to the whole field, at least in your section, the whole field in a way that I never been
You will
exposed
never get otherwise.
before.
Yeah,
And
very
that's really something that makes me learn a lot. I mean, in life, I always like learning, and this one has been one of the best opportunities I've had,
awesome.
really. And
Awesome.
I will highly recommend the job. That ever asked, just say yes. It's
Just
a
say
little
yes.
work, but it's worth it. Totally worth it.
Very cool. Very cool. Well, Enrico, thank you so much for sharing your thoughts on that. And I would like to wish you a happy and a long tenure as a scientific editor for the Double H journals.
I'd like to.
All righty. And that will do, everyone. And I hope this made your astronomy day, your referee day, your author day just a little bit better. And we will see you on the next one. Bye bye.
Bye bye.